Pittsburgh is a great place to live today, but it didn't happen overnight. It took 100 years of big building projects and the will to transform an industrial town into a livable city. In the 1800s, that meant expanding, building bridges over the rivers and conquering the hills to make room for an army of factory workers. Wow, look at this thing. A funicular. Imagine back in the day, if you had worked a day at the mills down here, there was only one other way to get to the top of this thing, and it was 1,400 steps that zigzagged their way up this mountain. Heck of a way to get home after a hard day of work. Pretty incredible view. I mean, really, there's nothing else in the U.S. like it. In the late 1800s, there were 17 of these vertigo-inducing inclines. They ferried workers away from the grimy, crowded downtown to new suburbs in and beyond the hills. As the industry kept growing, Pittsburgh faced the opposite problem, luring people back into a city that had become a smoky hellhole. I'm heading out to see the solution, a space-age bridge and tunnel combo called Fort Pitt. Opened in 1960, it was built to create the most spectacular entrance to any city in the U.S. And I'm not just getting special access, I'm also getting the best parking spot. Early morning rush hour traffic on the Fort Pitt Bridge. Not exactly a safe place to be meeting. This bridge had everything to do with how downtown Pittsburgh was remade. And I'm meeting with a bridge engineer who's taking me underneath of here. Hey, Lou, how you doing?
Hey, Don, how are you?
So we're on a pretty important piece of infrastructure of Pittsburgh, yeah? Back in the day, Pittsburgh, the industrial landscape of Pittsburgh came all the way down to the point, right?
Yes, it did.
Warehouses and dark alleyways and everything.
Yes, it was.
The whole idea was to open this city up, and this does it pretty nicely, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does.
The seedy waterfront was cleaned up, and the bridge was the dramatic entrance to a newly burnished downtown. The thing I notice everywhere in the city is everything's gold. Why is that?
Well, the city leaders at one time wanted to portray this area as the Golden Triangle.
So from that moment on, everything was gold,
yes, or
gold and black if you were a Steelers fan. So you got to get me harnessed up here, huh?
Yep.
Lou's getting me access to see how it's put together. 150,000 people a day cross this bridge, but none of them get to see it from this angle.
Off we go.
The plan is to set us down on one of the concrete bridge supports, and then we'll crawl up under the lowest level of this double-decker. It's a nice slow ride. Plenty of time to think about the fact that we're suspended in midair. Hey, try not to fall in the river here, thank you. So how are we getting up?
Well, we got to go up this ladder, walk on a portion of the bridge, and then into the catwalk.
Look at this dramatic drop-off. Do not fall in the water or you die down here. Renovations over the years have turned the underside of this bridge into an obstacle course. All right, you first.
Okay, do it.
My Nangahila, that's a tight space. I'm learning all about your backside here. There it is. This can't be simple. What is going on here? How you hold a bridge up with this much traffic going over it every single day.
Yes.
How is it so strong?
This is a bowstring arch.
And what does that mean?
Well, if you picture yourself as a bow and arrow,
yeah,
and the bow of a bow and arrow, that's what this is.
This was the first bowstring arch bridge designed by computer. The soaring bow supports the weight of the double-deck roadways below, spreading the weight to the support piers on either side. The arch serves another purpose, clearing the sight lines for drivers on the upper deck heading into the city. Remember, this is not just the inbound, it's also the outbound. The whole thing is right over my head, and every time a truck or a car goes by, the whole thing goes... Every year, the people of Pittsburgh make millions of trips over the bridge and through the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Hey, Harry, how you doing? But Harry Smeltzer from the Department of Transportation is getting me access to a view those commuters never see. It's one of the busiest stretches of highway in the state, so we can't go inside it, but we can go over it, using the ventilation system that keeps it from filling up with deadly carbon monoxide. There we go. Well, the point of it all, isn't it? This you're looking at, really, one of the best examples of what really changed America in the middle part of the century. the American city began to be re-engineered to draw people back into the city. The workers trudging into the city 100 years ago wouldn't recognize the sparkling, clean version of Pittsburgh. The only thing that hasn't changed since the old days is the local pride in building bigger and better. If you want to know what the future looks like, go to Pittsburgh. Because the innovative tech and big bucks that came along with the steel industry are still here, turning wild science fiction ideas into reality.